Hi everybody, welcome to my beauty salon, which I'm in before I get to tea time at the Ritz later on. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about how to become more professional when it comes to applying your makeup, becoming your own makeup artist, if you like. I can remember the very first time I had a makeup artist do my makeup. It was at my older daughter's wedding. And her name is Julia Biddlecombe. She is actually one of the makeup artists that we use from time to time for doing makeovers in the shops. And Julia was the makeup artist for the Duchess of Cornwall when she married Prince Charles. So if you thought that her makeup looked amazing on her wedding day, then it was down to Julia. Anna met Julia somewhere and then invited her to come round and have a look at doing her own makeup for her wedding, and then she did mine. And I actually put a photograph of me at Anna's wedding onto the Facebook Super Troopers page 2 or 3 days ago, and I think in that you can see just what a brilliant job she did on both Anna's makeup and on my own. So this experience of having a makeup artist do your makeup was quite an eye-opener. I've always thought I was pretty good at putting my own makeup on, but once you get somebody who is actually professionally trained in the way that Julia is and also enormously experienced, then the difference can be quite dramatic, let's put it that way. Since then, I've actually done a makeup artist course myself, so I have become much more adept, particularly putting makeup on other people, which is completely different from putting it on yourself. So today I wanted to share with you some of my, the things that I've picked up and ideas, particularly around the tools of the trade. The tools being the things that make a difference between somebody who is actually very professional in what they're doing and somebody who's actually quite amateur, because they're doing a lot of slapping it on with their fingers and hoping for the best. Now, there's no accident that makeup artists tend to have a whole load of brushes in their equipment, and they often have 40, 50 brushes. Now, obviously, they need quite a lot of the same brushes, but several of them, because they're perhaps making up lots of different people's faces in one go, and they haven't got time to keep cleaning and washing their brushes. But for yourself, I've got my set here. This is about the number of brushes that I will use on a fairly regular basis. And you'll see that I've got it in this brilliant thing that we sell, which is a brush roll. So, what I want to point out to you is that although the brush roll has 8 compartments, and if you do buy a brush roll set from us, you get the 8 brushes that we suggest are basically what you need to do a good job, but you can actually get lots of extra brushes in there. There is room to get lots of extra brushes. So I keep my brushes in that. And obviously you can roll it and tie it up. It's brilliant when you're travelling, and it just keeps everything nice and neat and in one place. And the other thing is that the brush roll is actually lined here with plastic to cover the tops of your brush. They're a bit mucky if you haven't washed them recently, and that protects them. And also you need to know that this can be thrown into the washing machine and actually comes out really well if you put it on a 40-degree wash. We've also got this brush cleaner, so if, like me, you like to have your brushes nice and clean and make sure that they're good and safe, because obviously you get build-up in brushes of bacteria and just general dirt, and also the grease that is in some makeup. And our little brush cleaner here, I wish you could have smell-o-vision, because you could smell this. I could push it over here and say, "Ooh, smell that, it's so good." It is an absolutely delightful smell. And what's brilliant about this, it's a vegan product, and it just keeps your brushes in really lovely condition. So what brushes do you actually have to have? So to start with, you've got to think about large surfaces, because to begin with, when you're putting your makeup on, you're covering a big, the whole face. So you need brushes that are bigger in order to do that. So our brush number 1 is the biggest, and this lovely fluffy brush is for those big movements that you want to use when you're putting on things like translucent powder or bronzer. And with translucent powder, I often put translucent powder around here and here. And I also put it here on my age spots, and I've got one down here. And I will often put concealer, because that's where I'm putting concealer, onto my chin. And then I get my lovely big fat brush, swirl it into the translucent powder, and then I just flick it over those areas, and it sets it brilliantly. So that's what I'm doing on a daily basis. And those of you who like the effect of a little bit of translucent powder dusted over your makeup to set it, then this is the brush to use. And of course, you're using bronzer, you know. My trick is 8s, so you go whoosh, 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 whoosh. And the whole idea is you keep it really light-handed, and that way you get a lovely effect without anything looking too orangey or clumpy. Don't want orange or clumpy. So that's brush number 1 for us. And the next, because it's the next biggest fluffy brush, is brush number 2, which is this one, which is the blusher brush. So what I do with this, now I want to give you this tip to those people that I've seen some comments on Super Trooper saying I can't get enough colour on my cheeks from the cream to powder formulation blusher that we have, both Rosy Glow, Peach Cream and Raspberry Pop. Well, I don't know what you're doing wrong, because honestly I don't have that problem at all, but what I have started doing is using the brush. So instead of putting it on with my fingers, I actually swirl this into the blusher and the cream to powder formulation blusher, and then I start to sweep it up where I need it to go. And I just keep building it up until I've got enough colour on there. So I'm not sure why you're having that problem. I would love to be able to be with you and show you just how easy and it is to use. And I do think it's possible to get enough colour relatively easily. Our third big brush for big movements is this. It's our number 3 foundation brush, and the reason it's angled is because it's then brilliant for sort of getting into the nooks and crannies that it needs to get into in order to apply your foundation. The way that I do it, I put it on the back of my hand, I swirl this in, and then I sort of swirl it and buff it really beautifully into the skin. This is just such a brilliant brush for doing that. And then having done that, I will then use my fingers, and I will admit needing my fingers then, because the warmth of your fingers just allows you to make sure that the foundation that you've put on is fully and completely absorbed and blended into the skin. So they are the 3 sort of big fat brushes that you need for those big movements. Now we come to something that is a lot more precise and specific. So brush number 4 for us is this one, and it's a stiff little brush. And what this is brilliant for, right? This is potentially useful for 2 things. One is to push the concealer into this corner area here. I always put concealer in here because I get these really dark blue bits. It's a sign of age, in the sense that my eyes are more sunken into my head than they used to be, and that has left these blue areas in here. But they're very easily rectified and covered up with concealer, and this is a perfect little brush for it. The other thing that I like this brush for is to apply my eye primer. So putting a dot of eye primer in the middle here, and then just using this brush to smooth that eye primer over. It's an absolutely perfect shape and size for that. So that's got 2 uses, brush number 4. Then we come to this little brush here. This is our brush number 5, and this is for very precise movements. Now I've got 2 or 3 of these in my kit, because sometimes I'm using them for putting dots. If I've got, my skin is actually doing a breakout and I've got the odd spot, I will use this with a little bit of concealer, and I will literally dot it onto the specific spot, just literally dot it on to cover it up, and then just press it lightly with my fingers like that, and lo and behold, it disappears, and a little bit of translucent powder does the trick after that. And the second thing that I sometimes use this for is to create a lash line underneath or on top, although we now have a special brush for that. But the third use of this is as a lipstick brush. So this is brilliant for drawing a very precise line just around the edge of your lips like that, and then using the rest of the brush to fill in the missing bits. So you can get a lovely sharp crisp line. I don't tend to bother with a lip liner, a lip brush every day, because I just can't be bothered. So I use it straight from the bullet. But if I've got a special occasion, or I want my lipstick to last a really long time, then I will definitely use a lip brush, because you get a much nicer, cleaner edge to your lips that way. And also, if you put it on with a brush, you can build the colour up, and then you can do that trick of pressing it into your lips like a stain, blotting, another coat using the brush, blot it, another coat using the brush, blot it, good to go. And that would be like an evening, if you're out for an evening, or a long day. You know, if you've got a long day, you're going to a wedding, or you're going to some special event, a nice lunch or something where your lipstick's got to look good for a long period of time, then that's a trick to make sure that your lipstick lasts. Brush number 6 for us is this one. It's the spoolie, which I said when I was giving you my brown masterclass is an essential item in your makeup bag, because unless you've got this, you can't get the really good effect that you need to get with your brow shape. So this is great for grooming the brows, and then having done that, put your brow shape on, and this is great for just making sure that your brow shape is absolutely the colour that you want it to be. So as I said, I think of that as an absolutely essential item. And then brush number 7. Now, I think you can not have too many of these. I've got a lot, probably 5 or 6, but these are the eyeshadow brushes. And the thing is that if you're going to be using different colours, and you don't want to be constantly washing your brushes all the time, then having several means that you can ring the changes. So today, what have I got on today? I did a bit of a number on my brows, on my eye makeup today. So I started off with eye primer, and then above that, sort of into my socket line up here, I did Bluebell. So using one of these like that, I did that shape there. Then on this outer bit here, I did Lilac. And then on the inner bit here, I put some Silver Mist lid colour. And I did that because it gives it just a lovely pop in that inner corner. And then I used brush number 8, which is the wedge brush, this one, with the charcoal. And I did that along my lash line, above and below, like that. So I used at least 2 of these today, but I actually probably used 3. So if I get another one out of here, you can see that in here I've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. So this is my everyday set of brushes that I'm using. But I take another one of these for the blending. So when you've done it and you've got any edges that need to be just smoothed out, then using a clean brush is perfect for that. And as I said, number 8 is that one. In addition to those in my kit, I've always got cotton buds. I know you can get these now so that they haven't got plastic stems. I think you can get card stems, which is obviously much preferable, because these are the horrible things that clog up the oceans. But I just see these as the most essential thing. When I've finished, I always get into my magnifying mirror and I tidy up, because there's always speckles down here. There's always bits of mascara after I've applied my mascara. And I sometimes think with older women, because their eyesight isn't very good, their makeup can look quite ragged. and quite messy, and it's because they haven't bothered to go in and really check that it's okay. I often use one of these on my top lip. I get rid of any build-up of foundation there, and I have a little bit that gathers around my hairline here, so I'll take that out. And then just, make sure that everything is as tidy as I can get it. And the other thing that I've got in my kit is some eyelash curlers. The best ones on the market are Shuamira. So when it came to us having our own eyelash curlers, they were the prototype, and I was thrilled when we got ours back because they are absolutely as good as the Shuamira ones, but they're half the price. So these are brilliant. So you know how to use these. You trap your lashes in, you squeeze, 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 and then you can lift it out and pull away, keep squeezing to push your lashes up. Don't usually do it when you've actually got your mascara on, as I have now, but because it makes a mess of the curlers. But you can see the effect of using curlers. They're absolutely brilliant for lifting your eyelashes up and away. They're very useful if you have glasses. If your eyelashes bat against the lens of your glasses, if you're lucky enough to have long enough eyelashes to do that, they can be very useful for that. So I hope that was useful to you. We've got a fantastic offer on this week. We've got we do a brush set, which is this brush roll with the 8 rough brushes in, brush 1 to 8 in there. And we've got an extra 10% off that brush collection in the brush roll. And we've also got 10% off every single brush that we sell at the moment. So this is possibly a good opportunity to fill in any gaps that you've got in your collection of brushes. And you'll see the offer for the brushes is on all the emails that we send out to you via the subscription that you have. So you sign up for our emails, and you will get all our best offers because you're signed up for the emails. So I hope that was useful. I've got a couple of things to end with. I've been contacted after my wig wearing the other day. I've been contacted by a charity called Little Princess, and it's a charity that supplies for free wigs for children who've lost their hair for various reasons. And it sounds like a brilliant charity. I had a delightful email saying, would you possibly mention us, because we're having a tough time at the moment, as a lot of charities are. So they take real hair and they make them into wigs for children, and they give them to the children free of charge. So that sounds like a really good charity. So check out their website. We'll put a link to it onto the email for you. And I'm just going to finish. We now have a resident poet on Super Troopers page, somebody called Angela Horner, and she's been writing poems throughout the whole COVID-19 episode, and she's joined us and is delighted to be part of the group. So she's written this. It's called Teatime at the Ritz. So we now have our very own poem for us at the Ritz. So this is what Angela's written. I joined this group for girly support. There's more to life than once I thought. There are tips to enjoy on makeup and hair, and each one of us can look pretty fair. There's lots of banter and friendly chat. No time to feel down, depressed or flat. We are the ladies that love our glitz and afternoon tea with Tricia at the Ritz. So that's lovely, Angela. Thank you very much for that. And I will very much look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I can't believe it's the end of our 6th week together. I don't know how many more weeks I'm going to be saying that, but a good fair few, I think. But I'm enjoying your company very much, and I thank you for that. I thank you for watching, and I shall look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.